After the Tower of Babel, humanity was scattered and languages were confused as a result of their attempt to build a tower to reach heaven. The event symbolized the rise of false doctrines as people began to form different belief systems and worshipped false gods. To counter this spiritual fragmentation, God decided to establish his own nation through Abraham. By calling Abraham, God set in motion a divine plan to create a people who worshipped him in truth. Abraham's descendants, the Israelites, were chosen to be a light to the nations of the earth. Preserving the knowledge and commandment of the true God through Abraham's faith and obedience, it laid the foundation for a covenant relationship, which could ultimately lead to the redemption of the world, culminating the coming of the Messiah. This was God's response to humanity's spiritual division, offering a path to reconciliation and truth. The descendants of Abraham up to Joseph experienced God's miraculous intervention and close relationship. From Abraham's covenant to the promises passed to Isaac, Jacob, and finally Joseph, God's presence was evident in guiding and protecting them. Joseph was sold into slavery and rose to power in Egypt by God's providence, saving his family and many others from famine. However, after Joseph's time, the Israelites were eventually enslaved by the Egyptians as a new Pharaoh arose who did not know of Joseph's contribution. Despite Egypt being the world's most powerful empire at that time, God had a plan to deliver his people. Through Moses, God demonstrated his supreme powers and set in motion a series of miracles that would distinguish him from fallen angels, which had limited power in comparison. Although Egypt's magicians and sorcerers, influenced by fallen angels, were able to replicate some of the early miracles, such as turning water into blood and producing frogs, they quickly reached their limits and God's miracle became more severe, including the plague of gnats, boil, and hail, and ultimately the death of the firstborn Egyptian. Egypt's magicians acknowledged their powerlessness, and Pharaoh's heart was hardened. God's miracles were not just about freeing his people, but also demonstrating his supremacy over all spiritual powers, including the fallen angels. The plague dismantled Egypt's religious and spiritual belief system, showing that the God they worshipped were powerless before the one true God. Through the Exodus and the miraculous parting of the Red Sea, God showcased his unmatched power, solidifying the distinction between himself and other spiritual forces, while also delivering Israelites from the strongest empire of that time.